Okay, we're going to talk about something absolutely crucial today. We're diving into that incredibly important window of time in a person's life, childhood. Specifically, we're going to look at how the brain actually gets built and how screens might be changing the entire game.
No, really. Pause what you're doing. Whether you're a parent, a teenager yourself, or just, curious about how our own minds work, what we're about to break down here could totally change how you see that little device in your hand.
All right, so to really get what's at stake here, we've got to start with this one core idea in neuroscience. It's called the critical period. You can basically think of it as the ultimate use it or lose it principle for your brain. So, what does that actually mean? Well, the key phrase here is particularly receptive. It's kind of like wet cement. For a little while, you can write your name in it, make a handprint, whatever. But once that cement sets, it's pretty much set for life. And if you miss that window, if the brain doesn't get the right experiences, it can lead to permanent challenges down the road. And look, language is the absolute perfect example of this. This isn't just a theory, it's a documented fact. The human brain has a very specific window of time to wire itself for language. If you miss that window, that's it. The opportunity is gone. The neurological pathways just won't form in the same way. The window closes. And here's the thing. The brain doesn't just, switch on all at once. It's this incredible stage-by-stage process. Imagine different departments in a giant company powering up one after the other, and each one has its own critical period to get things right. So first, around year one, the movement department comes online. This is all about the physical stuff, walking, grabbing things, exploring the world. Then, between ages 3 and 7, the language wiring really kicks into high gear. And finally, starting around age 6 and going all the way through puberty, the most complex system of all starts to take shape, the social brain. This is where we learn how to connect, how to read faces, and how to understand other people. And that right there brings us to the main event. Because out of all these stages, puberty is the big one. It is the most intense and, in a lot of ways, the most vulnerable phase for wiring up the brain for the rest of your life. So, what's actually happening inside an adolescent's head? Well, at the start of puberty, the brain is this wild, chaotic construction site. You've got way too many neurons and not enough myelin. That's the insulation that makes brain signals fast and efficient. But by the time a person comes out the other side of puberty, that construction is mostly done. The wiring is basically locked in. And that's why it's so much harder to change deep-seated habits or learn new social skills when you're an adult. Okay, and this is where it all comes to a head. That entire super important period that's dedicated to wiring the social brain, it's now being dominated by something totally new. We've seen this massive historic shift from playgrounds to phones. Think about how this used to work. That social wiring happened through real, messy, face-to-face human interaction. Arguing with a friend and then making up, cooperating to win a game, trying to read the subtle little cues on someone's face to see if they're joking. That was the raw data that built a healthy social brain. Now let's look at the data the brain is getting today. Instead of all that complex social stuff, it's being fed an endless stream of short, flashy videos. It's being trained by an algorithm that has only one goal: keep you watching. Sunshine, real-world problem-solving, and deep friendships are being swapped out for a digital stimulus. So how is this actually happening? How are screens literally rewiring the brain? Well, it's not magic. It's just neurology. The brain is being actively trained by a really simple but incredibly powerful feedback loop. Here's how it works. Every scroll you make, every notification that pops up, every new video that autoplays, that's a stimulus. And each one gives your brain a tiny, quick hit of dopamine, the reward chemical. So it's stimulus, reward, over and over. The brain learns this pattern super fast and starts to crave that next hit, wiring itself to seek out that digital reward above almost everything else. And the result of that constant, relentless loop is profound. We're not just talking about changing a few habits here. When this happens during that critical construction period, the very foundation of childhood itself is being rewired. Which brings us to our final, and honestly, our most important point. For any parent or any teen listening to this right now, you have to remember, this is not a game. This is a permanent construction project happening inside your head. And a brain under construction is a fragile thing. It needs to be protected. I mean, you would never let a total stranger come in and rewire your house while it's being built, right? So why are we letting an algorithm designed to sell ads rewire a developing brain? And this is the big, kind of scary question we have to leave you with.
We know from science that these critical windows close. So, as we hand these incredibly powerful devices to a generation that's right in the middle of its most important brain building phase, we have to ask ourselves, once that wiring sets, is it even possible to go back and rebuild?